inclination due to Earth's supposed curvature. Similarly, ship captains in navigating great distances at sea never need to factor the supposed curvature of the Earth into their calculations. Both plain sailing and great circle sailing, the most popular navigation methods, use plane, not spherical trigonometry. From Navigation and Nautical Astronomy, plain sailing is usually defined to be the art of navigating a ship on the supposition that the Earth is a plane. Even when longitude enters into consideration, it is still with the plane triangle only that we have to deal. But as the investigation here given in the text shows, the rules for plain sailing would equally hold good though the surface were a plane. Thomas Winship wrote, "It must be evident to everyone who understands what a triangle is, that the base of any such figure on a globe would be an arc of a circle of which the center would be the center of the globe. Thus, instead of a plane triangle, the figure would contain one plane angle and two spherical angles. Hence, if the plane triangle is what we have to deal with, and such is the case, the base of the triangle would be a straight line, the ocean. That all triangulation used at sea is plane proves that the sea is a plane. The foregoing quotation states that a plane triangle is used for a spherical surface, but the rules for plane sailing would equally hold good though the surface were a plane. What fine reasoning! It is like saying that the rules for describing a circle are those used for drawing a square, but they would equally hold good though the figure were a square. Plain sailing is navigating a ship making all mathematical calculations on the assumption that the Earth is perfectly flat. If the Earth were, in fact, a sphere, such an errant assumption would lead to constant glaring inaccuracies, and the necessity for using spherical trigonometry would become obvious. Plain sailing has worked perfectly fine in both theory and practice for thousands of years, however, and plane trigonometry has time and again proven more accurate than spherical trigonometry in determining distances across the oceans. It is so commonly used at sea, Navigation in Theory and Practice states that, in practice, scarcely any other rules are used but those derived from plain sailing. The great and serious objection to plain sailing is that longitude cannot be found by it accurately, although in practice it is more frequently found by it than any other method. So both latitude and longitude are found most often and most accurately by assuming the Earth to be flat, more accurately even than assuming the Earth to be spherical. Thomas Winship wrote, "Plain sailing proves that the surface of water is a plane or horizontal surface, and in practice it is shown that this plane extends for many thousands of miles. Whether the voyage is outwards or homewards makes no difference, thus showing that a short voyage to the Cape and back to England can be accomplished by plain sailing. The fact that water is flat like a sheet of paper, when undisturbed by wind and tide, is my working anchor, and the powerful ground tackle of all those who reject the delusions of modern theoretical astronomy. Prove water to be convex, and we will at once and forever recant and grant you anything you like to demand." William Carpenter wrote, "If the Earth were a globe, a small model globe would be the very best, because the truest thing for the navigator to take to sea with him. But such a thing as that is not known. With such a toy as a guide, the mariner would wreck his ship of a certainty. This is a proof that the Earth is not a globe. As the mariner's compass points north and south at one and the same time, and a meridian is a north and south line, it follows that meridians can be no other than straight lines. But since all meridians on a globe are semicircles, it is an incontrovertible proof that the Earth is not a globe." And David Wardlaw Scott wrote, "The needle of this most important instrument is straight, its two ends pointing north and south at the same time. Consequently, the meridians must also be straight lines, whereas on a globe they are semicircles. Even at the equator, the needle points straight, which would be impossible, were that the midway of a vast convex globe, as in such case the one end would dip towards the north, and the other be pointed towards the sky. Again, the navigator, when he goes to sea, takes his observations and relies on the compass to guide him as to the direction in which he wishes to proceed. He does not provide himself with the model of a globe, which, if the world were a globe, would surely be the safest plan for him to adopt, but he takes flat maps or charts. Thus, in practice, he sails his ship as if the sea were horizontal, though in theory he had been erroneously taught that it is convex."
thinking about the Earth.
And asking the question, could the Earth be flat? Greg Argos is here with more on the movement that is taking on centuries of scientific research. Greg?
It really is, guys. And Yuki, this was just unveiled just yesterday, in fact. This billboard, a digital billboard unveiled yesterday, and it's calling into question a theory most of us have accepted, that the Earth, of course, is round. But those behind this billboard say, well, we've all been tricked. Drivers heading eastbound on the Schuylkill already battle some serious traffic. But now there's another distraction slowing them down, and it's just 100 feet above their heads.
No. That's pretty ridiculous. They're missing a lot.
Sandwiched between two insurance ads is this bold 3-word billboard: Research Flat Earth.
I know about these folks.
I can't believe this is for real.
That they have some very hard, concrete evidence that they've convinced themselves that the Earth is flat.
We believe this is something that needs to be talked about.
Math Powerland purchased the ad.
$900 a week for that one.
He's a member of the Infinite Plane Society, whose members believe the Earth is flat. He says NASA's pictures and spacewalks showing a curved Earth are all made up.
We believe it's all faked. All of it's in front of CGI, augmented virtual reality. The spacewalks are, for the most part, done in desalinated water tanks.
They're stuck in like 1492.
Actually, more like 330 BC.
The Greek mathematicians figured out that the Earth is round simply by looking at the angle of shadows in different places on the surface of the planet.
Derek Pitts, the Franklin Institute's chief astronomer, says it's fine to have different opinions, but when there is concrete evidence to the contrary, you have to accept reality.
We've been able to observe lunar eclipses from Earth. The only way you can make a curved shadow is if you have a curved object that blocks the light.
And for at least the next week, this ad will be blocking drivers' attention.
I guess it's not the worst thing to spend your money on, but I guess there's more important things than whether or not the Earth is flat.
Definitely need to get a new hobby. I mean, I could use that money.
Now, Philadelphia is the first city this billboard was introduced. Math Powerland says he chose our city simply because of economics. As you heard, the cost for a week was under $1,000. Now, he says he plans to unveil other ads in Phoenix and Denver in the coming weeks, and he's actually getting a lot of hits on his website.
$900 a week. What's he do?
He's out of
How's he
New
get that
Mexico.
money?
I don't know, actually. He sells bags with flat Earth maps. He sells flat Earth maps for your home.
Maybe we should
Different
get in the
sizes,
t-shirt business.
coasters.
I know.
Coasters.
Coasters?
You name it. I mean, it's all there.
Coasters.
All right, Greg. We're going to keep an eye on that billboard and to the sky.
Keep us updated on Mr. Bad.
Thank you.
Okay.
What if I told you that the Earth was actually flat?
Hey there, brother. You haven't seen a sunset. You haven't seen a sunrise. And you don't know shit.
Anna, come on.
The
You can't
documentary.
bullshit a
This is the
bullshit.
documentary.
You can't bullshit a bullshit.
What do you mean?
You're joking. The Earth isn't flat, Anna. Really? I'm serious. Come on.
I'm serious.
You're bullshitting me. I know you are.
I thought it was crazy too, the first time I heard it.
Who told you such a thing? It's the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard.
The Earth is flat, bro.
No, it's not.
Flat Earth has been debunked for millennia. I should not have to even bother with that trivial bullshit ignorance that even excites that idea. The shadow of the Earth is pointed on our planet. Should show that we are not flat Earth. Are you questioning whether we have a round planet?
Yeah.
Ignorance is forever. Science is constant.
What about the signs of flat Earth?
Ignorance. Utter acceptance of belligerent ignorance.
What's the number one reason you believe we live on a globe?
What is the number one reason?
I don't know. Just, it is.
Would you be willing to research this?
I don't think so, no.
Why not?
Because my mind's made up.
Would you not give yourself a chance to do the research to find out if there's any validity?
No.
No chance.
Zero.
If we lived on a globe, on a ball, how is it possible that no matter how high you go, the horizon always remains fixed to your eye level? Shouldn't you see a curve?
And you don't?
Any curve? And you don't?
And no, you don't?
No, nobody does. Look it up. There's no curve. There's been videos and no curve.
I'm telling you straight up, if you believe in flat Earth,
I do.
No, you don't.
I do.
You're smarter than that.
I do.
No. Bullshit.
I swear to him that he's baiting.
No, I'm not.
I don't believe that he actually believes.
No, I don't believe that one iota. No, you're not that dumb. No.
Why is it dumb? Would you please just do the research?
You're fucking kidding me.
Dude.
I've sat on the Atlantic and the Pacific Oceans and watched the sunrise. Why are there shadows?
Which shadows?
Because the Earth is fucking round.
Thank you, sir.
Essentially, its fundamental purpose then is to show that the Earth is rotating, that we live on a planet that turns on itself. You're all looking at what amounts to the first evidence in the world in science, which proved empirically and irrefutably that the Earth is a rotating planet. It's almost impossible to show that the Earth is rotating from here inside the rotating Earth itself. Certainly, you folks can feel that we're traveling and turning as we speak at about 860 miles an hour here in Los Angeles, which we in fact are. Of course, if you felt that, it'd probably be a little unpleasant.
It's in direct contradiction to hundreds of years of science, and you want to look that in the face and say, I deny that because, hey, somebody said, I wonder if that's wrong. No. Okay, that's fine.
How did it start moving in the first place?
This one?
Yeah.
One of the shop's people jumped in here, pulled it in one direction. No, it's that simple. It's a good question. It's not a perpetual motion device. There is no such thing. Obviously, something has changed because you can see it down here. And you might assume that, or maybe some of you might, that I'm lying to you when I tell you that the pendulum cannot change direction. Well, I can tell you that's one way of getting fired from here, intentionally lying to the public, and I really like this job, so I'm not lying. That's right. This building, everyone and everything else in it, along with the building itself and the Earth, have quite literally rotated beneath the swing of the pendulum, not the other way around. And in that fashion, this is proving that the Earth is rotating.
What if the Earth is actually flat?
I don't know. Do you think the Earth is flat?
I'm asking you. The thing is, I thought this was fucking stupid at first, but then I started looking into it, and I found out the globe model is pseudoscience, and the flat model makes way more sense. If you look into it, if you just look into it, just give it a chance.
You're absolutely fucking insane.